a sales point or like musically? I mean,
Well, she was saying that Missy Elliott is attempting to make a comeback, but she was just like, well, no one really knows who she is because she's been out of the scene for so long.
It's kind of like
and I was like, I know who she is.
Thing. We have these like major icons. They put out music and it doesn't sell. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. What it is. I mean,
I do understand. Like,
they were doing $20 Janet Jackson tickets yesterday for Cyber Monday. I mean, come on.
Seriously?
Yes.
Wow. But I do understand that maybe if you're under 20 years of age or maybe under 18, you probably don't know who she is, or you probably know very little about Missy Elliott. But I don't know. It sounds like she. I mean, I understand it's Wendy Williams, but it also sounds like she was throwing a little bit of underlying shade at Missy Elliott, like, oh, her album's gonna flop. Well, she didn't say that. I mean,
I haven't heard the song on the radio.
I have.
Okay.
I've heard it on. They played it on 97.9 The Beat.
But this happens with, just as Christian was saying, this happens with all of the icons of industry. That's this industry, like Madonna, of course, Janet Jackson, all of them. And they don't sell the way they once did because they're older and the younger people don't always know who they are or like them or whatever. And so it's not like just because I don't think it's fair to hold them to the same standards that they had when they first came out when they were 20 years old or whatever, when they blew up. You know what I mean? Because it's really rare, unless you're Madonna, for people to continue to sell out stadiums and shit like that throughout their entire career. So I don't think it's fair for her to say that she's not going to make a comeback just because a lot of people don't know who she is. They'll find out. She has publicity. I assume she has a label, so she'll figure it out. She'll be fine.
Well, speaking of comebacks and world tours, the Dixie Chicks actually announced a world tour of about 60 dates, and surprise, surprise, it actually sold out in under a day.
They're coming down to Dallas, too.
Yes, it's coming to Dallas, and it's sold out. To be honest with you guys, and again, it's generational, before last week, whenever they announced it in the tickets on sale, I didn't know who the Dixie Chicks were. Like, I knew who they were. Like, I knew they were three chicks. They sang country music, but that's all I knew. And so I was kind of interested. So I listened to some of the music, and I, caught up with the whole George Bush thing and blah, 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 blah. I have to say it was really intriguing, and I'm really, 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 really pleasantly surprised to hear that it actually sold out, considering their history. So I think that shows times have changed, people have changed, and
they didn't even do anything wrong, and what they said was totally true.
Totally. Yeah,
but I just want to understand why people turned on them so much.
Because it's a country group, and she was against George Bush because he's a fucking moron, and she said the truth about him, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically he's a fucking idiot or something. Anyway, and so the country people, the country folk who listen to country music didn't like that because, oh, you're one of the liberals, so we're going to turn on you, and so they stopped going to their fucking concerts and shit. That's what happened.
Oh, because I remember when that all went down. I wasn't living in Texas at the time, but I did hear about it because it was like national news.
It was, yes.
But I was just like, why are people? I mean, it's freedom of speech. I don't understand why people are getting so bent out of shape. But like you said, it was just country people who
because we're
just like, how dare you
like
say
that.
something about our president?
Yes,
that he's, whatever.
Anyway. That's what that was about. But good for them coming back. I like the Dixie Chicks, and I think they're talented, and good for them. Hopefully they'll do well.
Yeah. So I've developed like a low-key obsession with them now.
Oh, really?
they actually have really good music. Like my mom.
Oh my gosh, amazing. They have a documentary called "Shut Up and Sing," which had come out years ago, and it's about the whole fallout and kind of their journey because they were like filming this documentary throughout the whole time, and it just happened to be how that kind of thing goes, and it's really interesting, and they say it in the movie that it wasn't really society as a whole that kind of like turned their back on them. It was more so a specific group that like was calling every radio station, telling them they were going to quit listening to them as a whole, and were writing all these letters. And so, of course, the corporate, which was at the time Clear Channel Radio, basically was like, don't play their music, which, of course, at that time, before social media, that's when, if you're not on the radio, you don't sell albums. You know what I mean? So then it became a society thing where nobody really wanted to be seen kind of supporting them because they didn't want to get in trouble. So it's interesting. If you're interested in that, Shut Up and Sing. It's on Vimeo. It's free if you want to watch it.
But you know what I hate about that? This is what I hate about that. What I hate is when someone stands up for something that they believe in, whether you agree with it or not, even if they're a fucking idiot like Donald Trump or something, but even if somebody stands up for something, and other people don't stand beside them because they're afraid of becoming associated with them or something because of their own issues, I think that's so wrong. I mean, I think if you have a true backbone, whatever you believe, you stand up for that, whether it's standing beside someone who believes the same thing or not. And so I think it's really sad that the industry and everyone turned against them because they were afraid of getting a little bit of dirt on themselves. That's just embarrassing and sad. But that's America. Welcome.
Yeah, and they never folded too.
to
And I
America.
think that's gives me a lot of respect for them, that they were never like, "Oh, we're so sorry." You know what I mean? They said, "This is what we said. We believe in what we said." And now, I mean, all these 10 years later, everybody kind of agrees with them. But yeah,
that's because they have principles and they have character. That's what the difference.
which
and
is
that is what character is, not this bullshit. Oh, I'm sorry for saying what I said.
And what's crazy is I was looking at the comments on like Facebook, on like Ticketmaster and stuff, and people were still on there like, "I'll never go to their concert."
They
How
were
can
saying
anyone
that.
support them? I'm like, that was 10 years ago. Like,
Exactly.
come
They were
on.
saying that on Fox 4, which is a local news station here for the people who live outside of Dallas. I follow Fox 4 on Facebook, and when Fox 4 had stated that they were, going back on tour, people are still like all up in arms about what they said over.
This is my issue. We have bigger issues going on in this world other than what somebody says at a concert that happened 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, you need to take that energy and apply it somewhere else, whether it be your own backyard or overseas or whatever the fuck it may be.
But that's the problem. Most Americans have have their priorities in the wrong position. Like, they're more focused on what someone said
or what Kardashians are doing.
Yes, but they're more worried about what these bitches said back in 1768 rather than trying to
save the planet from
end racism or
whatever.
world peace,
environmental issues or whatever,
bringing troops home or some shit like that. They're more worried about what these bitches said back in 1692.
That's because bitches love to hate. Period. That's all there is to it. Bitches love to hate, and I know so many bitches who love to hate, and they just love to hate because they can hate. That's all they care about is hate, hate, hate. So fuck them. Who cares?
So yeah, that's just America for you. Unfortunately, most, not all, but most just have their priorities in the wrong places. That's all. Moving on.
Right. Who the fuck is Laquan McDonald?
Really?
Really? I don't know who that is. I've been watching the news.
I don't know who Laquan is.
Yes, Laquan McDonald is the guy who was shot by a police officer in Chicago.
Another one like this week?
Yes.
God.
Yes. It happened back in October, but now it's just now making news. It's just now making national news because they were trying to cover it up. So the police officer, I don't want to go too much into it because this just recently became national, like within the past few days. So I don't have all the details, but from what I've heard from CNN, according to CNN, is that he was 17 years old. He had a knife on him. I'm not sure why he was called by the police, but he had a knife on him, and the officer, whose name is Jason Van Dyke, I guess there was some exchange of words, whatever the case may be. Anyway, he shot the boy 16 times within 15 seconds.
Oh, I did read about this. Yes, I did. I've seen about this. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, and then, just within, well, let me say, this originally happened October 20th of last year. Let me rephrase that. But it didn't become national until recently. And then right after all this happened, supposedly the city paid his family out like $1.5 million or something like that to try to cover it up, just kind of like keep the family quiet. But this is before they had released, done autopsy and reports and that type of thing. Now that they find out that this boy had been shot 16 times and all this other stuff, and now the city of Chicago, as well as just all just national, national news. I mean, people are just really upset, and people in Chicago were looting and was saying, 16 shots. They were chanting 16 shots.
So it's just another one. Just another fucking case of this fucking idiocy that's going on.
Yeah, it is. And here's the thing about it. Like, it's sad that's in this. Like, I'm really sick of hearing about it, but it's at this point now, it seems like it's becoming so common, which is never okay. But it's like this started to become like almost like a monthly occurrence.
Because, we have so many cameras everywhere now. This was filmed by a police cruiser, but I mean, generally we have cameras everywhere. Everyone has cameras, and I think they're more prolific, and so we're catching these things more often. But they've happened all along through history, of course.
Right.
Unfortunately, we're just hearing more about them more often, I think, which is good. I think it's good to hear about them. Even it's sad that we're having them happen every month, but it's good that we're hearing about them as often as we are, because it means that people are being held accountable more often, and that's good. So hopefully something will happen in the end, and they'll actually be, whatever needs to happen. They go to jail or something. The cop who shot him. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So yeah, and then
I'm trying to find out.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm trying to find out where the city of Chicago is getting $1 million to shut somebody up when they need to be invested in their own damn neighborhoods.
Well,
that's all I had to say.
Yeah.
And then
it's amazing when they'll come up with money when they can. They have to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying. And then the people actually have the nerve to support this police officer that shot this kid. Mm-hmm. They actually started a GoFundMe page for this police officer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
That's the way they do. It's because they create what they do is end up making it an us and them proposition, and they end up making it about black and white. They end up making it about conservative versus liberal or whatever. It's always that's how they do it. But
I'm thinking to myself, the cameras, the dash cameras show him shooting this boy like it's obvious this police officer shoot this, and y'all still go raise a goddamn GoFundMe account for this man. And I'm thinking to myself, and then here's where GoFundMe comes in. They had raised, I don't know, between $10,000 and $12,000, and then I guess when GoFundMe had had found out that this money was starting to go, GoFundMe was like, oh no, the fuck you're not. Yep. You're not gonna drag our name through the mud, and they took the shit down.
They did.
GoFundMe was like, oh hell no, no.
Good.
So I'm glad that GoFundMe did it, that they removed it and gave the people their money back or whatever that they do in that situation. I'm assuming they refund the people. But I did like the fact that GoFundMe did that. They just like, bitch, you are not about to drag my name through this. So it was just so upsetting to me that he's on camera. This is like they're not accusing him. It's shown on camera, and people still raise a fucking GoFundMe account.
They do what they can to discredit it because there's.
I think you guys would like last week. The reason I wasn't on the show is because I was at the premiere of Chirac, which is that movie that's coming out next week or the end of this week, Friday, and it's a Spike Lee. It's a new Spike Lee movie, and it's actually about Chicago, and a lot of social issues get brought up in the movie, just like Sandra Bland, Trayvon Martin. I mean, all of that is kind of tied into the movie, but. If you're interested in those kind of social issues, that kind of thing, and if you're educated, it's a really, really interesting movie. It's inspiring, and I think you guys would really like it. I would encourage you guys to go see it.
Okay, I'll think about it.
I will. I'm a Spike Lee kind of person.
I mean, it's not very... See, just to clarify with you guys, because I kind of went into the movie thinking that I was walking into a gang movie that was about to be loud and violent, and it was so not that. It's actually very poetic. The whole movie is like one long poem. It all rhymes. Sorry, maybe...
I don't know Go ahead.
What was that?
I don't know if I could deal with an entire movie that's a poem.
I mean, you kind of get over it. I'm from a theater background, so that's like Shakespeare. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing to me. But it's interesting, and Angela Bassett is incredible in the movie. Jennifer Hudson's amazing in the movie. It tells a story of a mother whose young daughter gets shot by a stray bullet, and it goes to her trying to fight for it's based in Inglewood, trying to fight for their community to end gang violence. So it's basically all of the women gang members come together, and they try to find a way to convince their men to quit gang banging. And so that's ultimately what it's about, and then you follow their journey through there. But it's an awesome movie.
Cool. I will watch it when it comes on Netflix then.
I'm going to watch it in the movie theater because I'm a Spike Lee.
Yeah, I like Spike Lee. I mean, some of his movies, the earlier stuff in the '90s, but I don't know if I would. I don't know. I think I'll watch it when it comes on Netflix, though, for sure, definitely. Speaking of nothing, Atlanta Housewives. Let's talk about that, guys.
Okay, so this one was pretty much. I feel like it was more another filler episode. It really didn't get good towards the very end. Of course, that's how Bravo does
I keep
it.
hearing that. I haven't seen them, but I keep hearing that they're not